Well, hello and welcome to this still very frosty status chat. We're on Fridays. We'll probably stay on Fridays till after February, about March. We'll get back on Thursday because we need to leave probably Friday available as we start heading into the warmer months. But right now it's still pretty chilly and we've got some good stuff going on. As always, remember, hit that QR code if you want to see these status chats over on the YouTube page. That's what that little symbol is. YouTube status chats, that's where they live and die after time memoriam. I still haven't taken any out, but there they are all the way back to our very start. We did start these things in portrait mode because people seem to like that as people go more towards the mobile apps, as they would call them. All right. Now, what we got going on today, we've got the Fed announcement this week, and we've had a little bit of time to get some reaction. That's something that may go away a little bit when we go to a Thursday, back to a Thursday post, because, Wednesdays is when they finally get around to telling us what they're going to do. Now, we do have some of that to go on, but I tell you what I've got, as if you'll indulge me, since we haven't had a human interest thing on the show for a while, let's go take a look at something that I have. And this is from one of my other channels. This is what I do in my spare time. And if you had a home of your own that wasn't an apartment, you could set something up, do about the same thing. And here we go. Now here's one of those coppas we did last year. Here we go. It has lost a significant amount of weight. It's about 90 days old, give or take it a little bit. And depending on if you started drying or started processing. But we're going to try this one. It is got a little bit of bay leaf, got some number 2. What else we got in here? Juniper berries. This is an experiment. Don't know if I'm going to do it. Bay leaf, juniper berries, salt and cure. It does have a distinct difference in how it smells, but we'll see how it slices up. Again, this is pretty hard, and I don't know if my little baby 9-inch slicer can handle one quite this dry. These are with the 100 mil casings. I'm not fond of the 100 mil casing. Well, I am when I'm stuffing them. They're great when you stuff them. They're not so great for us holding the shape, because as you can see, it has changed a little bit. It's sunk in different areas, whereas the sixes, whatever they were, so the 100 is 6.5, so these are smaller than that, what I normally would use, but I couldn't find them. And they are a booger to stuff, but they do make pretty round coppas. And that is what a little bit of trimming does on the hanging end. And you see, we just got it started, but you can tell pretty well much we have got the beautiful, most perfect little color throughout the coppa itself as it aged. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll knock off the tail end where it says do the click, like, and subscribe bit, but we get the idea what's going on there, don't we? I don't know if any of you are familiar with like Parma ham, the Italian style, prosciutto. It's just pretty good. It's pretty good. So anyway, I do some coppas. I dry them out just for a fun hobby type thing. But anyway, now that we've got that in there, I would have said a little something instead of drinking on my diet sun drop. I can remember when sun drops were in pull-out bottles, returnable bottles, and we had a little bit of that little stuff in the bottom, a little sediment like orange juice or whatever it is. Any of y'all old enough to remember sun drop when it was still good? I mean, I guess it's good. It's just not great like it used to be. Anyway, we do have some stuff we want to talk about. Mainly, I already mentioned talking about the Fed. Here we got CNBC. Senate passes funding deal, but government will still partially shut down at midnight. Well, I suspect most of us will never actually even notice it, to be honest. Government is so large, but that's a little bit of a personal opinion being injected in there. Silver plunges 30% in worst day since 1980. Gold tumbles as worst pick eases Fed independence fear. Published Friday, that's today. And right there, updated 3 hours ago. Chloe Taylor is the one who's responsible for this. Key points, we'll just hit those. Silver futures plummeted 31.4% to settle at $78.53, marking its worst day since March 1980. The sharp move down were initially triggered by reports of Warsh's nomination. However, they gained steam in the afternoon, trading as investors who piled into the metals raced to book profits. So yeah, there were some people looking for to make some money off it. Metals were also under pressure as the dollar spiked higher. I'll leave you to read that yourself. It's kind of saying the same thing. Gold and silver prices plunged Friday as President Donald Trump's nomination for the next chair of the Federal Reserve, Kevin Warsh, appeared to relieve concerns about central banks' independence and set the dollar soaring. See, that's the part I'm not sure I buy entirely. Trump was responsible. I think he put Chairman Powell in spot, and then Chair Powell did what Chairman Powell wanted to, which was mainly for the bank's benefits, not so much for anyone else. The bank's benefits didn't help him. But now this guy, I happen to look up, I don't know him personally. I thought we were going to get someone that would be probably better suited for it, from what I can tell about this past governor, but maybe they want to leave Christopher Waller where he's at and not put him in this capacity. But this young man is from, if I'm not terribly mistaken, New York City. Places where you still get your sauce. New York City. Where's Donald Trump from a lot? Well, he's from all over, but a lot of New York City. So I suspect he will not be quite as independent as other people think he is. I suspect he'll probably give Trump what he wants. I don't think Trump would have picked him unless he was going to get what he wants. I think he was ready for this. Now, just because he's in New York and Trump wants interest rates cuts doesn't mean we're going to get interest rates cuts, because this guy has in the past been quite hawkish in his attitude. So I don't know if we're going to get the hawk or we're going to get the bull. But either which way, I don't expect quantitative tightening to be a big thing. So I do sort of expect we'll know second half of the year if we start to see inflation rise again. Won't be a good time for it, but it will start to get an idea if that has it. Now let's go look at the Dow. Let's see what we're going to look at. I said Dow. Let's look at the data center over at Redfin News, because I want to look at this downloadable housing market data from Redfin. We're going to slide all the way down just so we can get this chart. Not going to digest much of it, short of, if you haven't seen it, different colors, different years. We see that the trend is still arching over pretty well, much about the same amount of new listings in Nashville Metro. If you get this, you can change your metro by doing your pull down here. You can do Aberdeen if you want to go to Aberdeen. I don't know if off the top of my head, if United has someone in Aberdeen, but probably do. It's a large metro area. But here we go. These are different years. We see that we have this cresting and falling. This is cyclic nature, I think, of it. New listings associated with this time of year as we get cold. And you see we're beginning to take up in January. We're just surging right on up in the green. I think it looks pretty normal, doesn't it? Now, we look at the bottom. Year over years, we do see a little bit of a little blip right there. That may be a little too early to draw a, what I'm talking about, trend here. So let's look at our last tab that we're going to look at. Would be our 30-year fixed mortgage rates. We like to hit from time to time Mortgage News Daily. You know, since I started doing this thing after COVID, I've noticed a lot more real estate people have picked up on Mortgage News Daily. We use them all the time because we like the fact that they have a daily poll, a daily rate check. But you see, what do we see? We see under the blue, which is usually our Mortgage News Daily. See right there, our blue, right here, blue line. See, if I put it right there on the Mortgage News Daily, we should see, it looks like it shot up and now it kind of trended back down. I don't know if this is going to hold, because, there were fears that we were going to see some inflation return, I think, and I'm not sure that's going away. MBA is a weekly. All right, there it is. It's definitely going up. Of course, check us about this time next week, see what we're going to do when we do our report. Freddie Mac, it also went up just a tad. So that's what we got going on there. We're not going to get too deep into it, keep our runtime short, but we do have, of course, as always, want to take this opportunity to remind you to hit that subscribe button over on the YouTube page and click that notification bell so that you'll be told as soon as we get them posted and it gets cleared by the gurus over there at YouTube. Now, we have our weekly numbers. Let's go see what we did last week. Week was ending in 1/23/26. We saw 26,716 availables in our little area. We see that they increased. We see all of it actually increased. We see the under contracts increased, and the ratio there increased to 14% under the under contract ratio. That's just between what's available and, of course, what's under contract. 37-32 is what we had last week. This week, are we ready? Here we go. 1/30/26, last one of these in the month. We see that we actually dropped a little bit on the availables, 26,515. We see we did increase just a little bit more in the under contracts there at 3812. Not a whole lot. It wasn't even enough to move the needle on the under contract ratio at 14. So, you know what we do next? We always try to hit some little words of wisdom before hitting end credits and going away. I hope you stay warm this weekend. We're supposed to get another bout of cold coming in. Hopefully it won't be too bad. And I think if you live in Middle Tennessee, Electric's area, you saw they got on the stick pretty good. We didn't get hit quite as hard as some of the other areas, but what we did actually get quite a bit of was fear and anxiety, because you just don't know, especially if you live out in the country like I do. Anything can happen, and since we don't have that many people per square mile, we tend to be a little bit last on the list to get pulled up. They like to get as many customers as they can off of that map. Middle Tennessee did a great job. We didn't lose water. Nothing froze up. We had heat. Everything was, really a blessed person. Got a little slammed a little north of us to us on the usual southwest, northeast kind of diagonal. But we are out of it. We just need to keep our heat on and our gas up, and we got good thing to go. So here we go with our words of wisdom.